Community Chronicles Radio, brought to you weekly by Gannon University's Erie Technology Incubator in partnership with the Corey Higher Education Council. The Erie Technology Incubator, located at 900 State Street, works in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and provides technical assistance through the entrepreneurial process. This show features members of this ecosystem and the entrepreneurs in the Erie area. Welcome to Community Chronicles Radio. If you have a question for us or any of our guests on today, you can give us a call here in the studio, 814-679-1080. That's 814-679-1080. I am Dr. Matthew Plotz, and with me today, as always, is our accomplished co-host, Steph Screws. Hello, Steph.
Hello, Matt. How are you today?
Doing well, doing well. So today, I'm off. I'm on vacation, but I'm doing the show. And then after this, I have all this work to do for the Battle of Lake Erie softball tournament. So looking forward to that. My daughter's in it, and it's going to be a good day. It's supposed to be relatively nice outside. We'll get some softball in. Tomorrow might be different, but we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good. I know it was a little cooler this morning. My heater actually kicked on. I was like, oh my goodness, you go from like 90-degree weather to then like your heater's kicking on again. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's still nice. The sun's out. And
Yeah,
it's gonna be
nice and cool. You can open the windows and get some good sleep. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
But who knows? It could be 90 degrees in a couple days. We'll see.
Yep, you never know.
So, once again, I want to welcome our new sponsor, Gannon University's Erie Technology Incubator. As we noted on last week's show, this sponsorship will allow us to interview some of the board members in the incubator that are also local entrepreneurs. Our first guest today is one of those board members and a local entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Karen Respecki. Karen is the founder of Recap and Maker Place Incorporated. Good morning, Karen.
Hey, good morning, Matt and Steph. Nice to be here.
Good morning, Karen. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself to start off?
Well, I've lived in Erie most of my life. Started my GE career when I was in my 20s as an apprentice. And then I spent really a lifetime at other GE businesses traveling the world until about 13 years ago when I became an entrepreneur. And I became then heavily involved in the Erie region entrepreneurship from ever since that time, and it's been a joy.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience as a board member for the Gannon University's Erie Technology Incubator?
Yeah, as a board member, I get to give back. When I started in 2011, there were very few organizations helping entrepreneurs, but ETI was one of them. And I was part of the ETI startup back then. And I had my first office there. It was on West IWCA. We love that building. And being a solo entrepreneur can be exciting, but it also can be scary and oddly isolating. So being part of ETI made me feel like I had a support group. It was really essential in the startup phase to be able to grow and feel like you have confidence to do what you need and that there's people that you can bounce things off of. So it was a very critical time.
Exactly. So what drew you to taking an appointment on this board?
Probably Brad who invited me, but mainly because I know the organization from being an entrepreneur myself. And so I wanted to really get involved to see what I can do to help.
I want to jump in here just to let our audience know that the Brad that she's mentioning is Brad Gleason, the director over at the Erie Technology Incubator. He is on with us today, so if you hear another voice that we haven't introduced, that's Brad.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here.
Good to have you, Brad. Also, to our next question, could you give us some background on Recap?
Yeah, Recap Mason Jars is a reusable, multi-purpose mason jar cap. And so I started really just one. My aha moment was when I was in my garden picking herbs for salad dressing. I was thinking about the mess I usually make with my mason jar with that lid and ring. and how it needed a better solution. And so I really just wanted to buy a different cap for my mason jar. And when I found it didn't exist, I was so excited to do it that I just jumped right in. And so now we have like a line of products. So it helps you, anybody that uses mason jars reuses mason jars, right? So you can use them for water bottles, or we have now like a sprayer and a pump. So you can put, one of our favorite uses is filling a mason jar with dish soap and then putting the pump on it. So then when you do dishes, it's super easy, you know, one hand operation. So we just make things easier for people.
So do you have like all different kinds of products for your mason jars? Like you have different attachments, or is it just one? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So different attachments for the products, and they're all made here in Erie. So our supply chain is within 100 miles, sorry. And because our gaskets are made in Ashtabula, all of our packaging is here in the Erie region, our entire supply chain.
That's great. So if somebody was interested in any of these products, where could they go about finding them if they wanted to order them?
So there are some local places that have them. As an example, Franco's at 10th and State. He's the restaurant. He has them on his first floor. And there's other places throughout Erie. And then you can get them online at recapmasonjars.com.
So I want to jump in here real quick. You know, one thing that we try to do at this show is let other people who are thinking about an idea or, you know, something that they might want to put together and that whole process and everything that goes through it. So can you talk a little bit about what the process looked like for you to get to these retailers, Franco's, for instance, and how to make that first step?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people, entrepreneurs, actually, when they start, their biggest issue is supply chain, right? Sourcing and getting all that. And so they often think that's the biggest struggle, which it is at first, but it takes time to narrow that down and get good relationships. But once that's done, now you're talking about the sales process. And this process never goes away. So you're always out trying to sell. As an example, I had, over 2,000 mom and pop retailers before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, those sales dropped by probably 75%, a lot, because a lot of those boutique stores were shut down. And a lot of them didn't make it. And so after post-pandemic, we felt like we're starting over, because there's always new businesses starting. So, but now you have to find them. You have to find all the new ones coming up. And that's just one example of how you consistently have to find your audience and find new customers. And in the case of I have a consumer product. So for me, it's twofold. Because I love working with the mom and pops. That's my jam. And so I spend a lot of time doing that. But then also, in order to grow, you can't ignore, regional chains or bigger chains. It's just, if you're going to grow, you have to think about then the Walmarts and the Targets and all the others. And so I've always personally been really skeptical of working with brokers, because I've heard so many people have horror stories. Like, I never heard a positive story from working with a broker until I actually met one years ago. As we were pitching to Menards, I ran into this rep that was repping for Anchor Hawking, and we just hit it off. We just had a good rapport. It was the only highlight of that whole trip, really. He was a lot of fun. And then years later, he contacts me and says he wants to rep our product. And I thought, this is somebody I can trust, and this is somebody who knows, my product. I'm going to do it. And it's been a real positive experience. So the point is with entrepreneurship, you don't know where relationships will lead, and you don't know. I think you have to sometimes be cautious about getting into relationships, but you can't have it stop you from moving forward. You have to take chances.
And I see you
can
have
I
another.
throw?
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, great. It's good that we're jumping in and asking questions together. That's awesome. So Karen, just as first a shout out that I'll turn into a question. Board members like Karen, you can start to get a sense of how her intellect to be a startup. She's learned a lot, but she also took a large jump from private into the entrepreneurial space and did it when it was a very different community, if you will. And now that you have been more successful with this product, talking about business two, and you and I've had maybe a discussion around maybe three, business number three, a lot of time has gone by between start and now. How have you seen the system change within the community? What are your thoughts about how the startup community has evolved?
Wow, there is so many more support avenues than there used to be. It was very, very difficult at first. And I would also say that back then, it's hard to engage with certain suppliers because they don't want to take a chance on entrepreneurs. And so that's one thing that's changed as well. I think a lot of the manufacturers and businesses around here are much more willing to give entrepreneurs a chance and start a relationship. That's super positive. And I think that's born from the fact that there's so many organizations here helping entrepreneurs and making those connections. You need those warm handoffs in order to get things started. So when, back in the day when you didn't have, the warm handoff and you just cold called people to get things done, it's just not as successful. And so now you have so many organizations that are rooting for the entrepreneurs, making those connections, and it's opening things up.
I see you have another business. Is it Maker Place Incorporated?
Yeah, so I have a second business, and it was really created from my first one. So the recap mason jars. Again, my desire to help other entrepreneurs led me to, and I also sell my stuff on marketplaces like Amazon and whatever, and they are so not seller friendly. And so I wanted to have a marketplace where makers wouldn't be competing with, overseas competitors and knockoffs. And so I created a marketplace. It's a B2B marketplace called Wholesalery. And it's a place where independent brands like me can go and sell the products, and you're not going to be competing with knockoffs.
So is this like a replacement, like instead of, like you were saying, going to like Amazon or eBay or stuff like that, it's a different kind of place where it's just so you're not competing? Is that what you mean about?
So that's a really good question. We did start with a B2C website for that very reason, but in the end, we found we cannot compete with Amazon and eBay and those on a B2C level. It's just we tried and we couldn't do it. Especially Amazon with their deep transportation and logistics systems. It's just ingrained in American culture. So we decided to focus on the B2B side. And so the marketplace is B2B. There's other competitors out there, obviously, doing B2B. But as I said, they are very similar to Amazon in that their marketplaces are open worldwide. There's a lot of foreign competition on it, where ours is not.
Where do you go? Is this like a website you can go to, or is how do you go and find?
Yeah, it's a marketplace, online marketplace called Wholesalery.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, Wholesalery. And so it's for businesses. So if there's any local businesses looking for some regional products, go to wholesalery.com and you will find them.
I like that name, Wholesalery.
And
It's catchy.
I got to tell you, this is a great idea. And I'm on the website now. Both websites, very impressive. I don't know if ETI helped you with it, but when I Google it, you're near the top. Recap was the first one, so I found that right away. So the SEO is working. But talk about some of the other brands that are on Wholesaler. I got Uncle Penn's Art Kit, Paint the PA Wilds. Talk a little bit about how they found you and how that process started. I'd be very interested to see how this could grow.
Right, right. Yes. Thank you for the question, because when we started, again, we weren't sure how this was going to work. We knew that we needed to have enough sellers to make it attractive for buyers to come on board. And so we hired really an intern. Her name was Augusta, and she killed it. She did such a great job. She was able to onboard almost 200 sellers our first year, which is like unheard of. Walmart didn't do that. It took them 5 years to onboard 200 sellers. So it was like that's the level of the job that she did. Anyway, it was they were from all over, but they were all US based. And then what we found was that in order to differentiate ourselves, we decided to go deep into a region versus just try to grow the whole country. So what we did is focused on Pennsylvania. So we do have a lot of Erie makers, and we're bringing on board makers from the Pennsylvania Wilds region. So we're partnering with PA Wilds, and they have a membership of 350 to 500 makers, and we are not all of them do B2B. That's an important differentiator. A lot of the entrepreneurs we work with have a lot of like handmade goods or things that are great for direct to consumer, but the price point's hard for them to do wholesale, right? And so this is something that's going to be an avenue for the entrepreneurs that have products that have grown to a point that they can, sell at wholesale. And so we're partnering with them, and then we're going to be branching out region by region and focusing on each region at a time.
So Karen, I'm on the site now, and you mentioned the regions. I'm hitting shop by region. California is listed. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we just naturally have makers from California, and they do really well on the marketplace. So that region's new, and we're just now in process of reaching out to the leaders in each of those regions to work with their makers. So that one's a relatively new one. And then we're going to be working with the region, I think they call it Orca, it's Southeast Ohio. We'll be working with Ohio and bringing on the makers from there as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at your site as well. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I found it. And it just makes me think I had a bunch of my mother's mason jars, and I got rid of them. And now I'm thinking I should have kept them, because now I could have reused them in so many different ways, because I'm looking at all the different mason jar caps you have. They're really neat. You have so many different varieties. Now, did you designed, or you came up with all these different varieties of mason jars?
I did, but it's with the mason jar caps. Yeah, it's with input from customers though. So for example, my first product was a cap, a pour cap, we call it. I use it for a water bottle, and I still make my salad dressing in it, whatever. And I made one size. So the beauty of mason jars is there are only two mouth sizes, regular and wide, and the volumes go from 4 ounce to half a gallon. That's the beauty, is the standardization. And the minute we only need 2 cap sizes to do all of that. And when I started with one, I did the regular mouth, and like everybody said, are you doing this in the wide mouth? And so it was so cool, because my neighbor was the tool and die maker, and he was able to turn around a die and get the product out in, I think, 3 months. It was really, really quick.
Wow.
And the other thing is, I used Kickstarter. Back then, Kickstarter was new, and so you could kind of be found. And so it was extremely successful. And I had, plus I put the product on, there was a design competition in Erie, that I won. So that helped with some funding. And so within 3 months, I had positive ROI, at which I thought I didn't think anything of that until I launched other products, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this wasn't as easy. So yeah, it's so sometimes you strike at the right time, and things just work out.
So we'll be coming up here soon on the news break at the bottom of the hour. I know I talked to Brad, and we had mentioned earlier you're thinking about a third business now. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's not so much of a third business as just I always come up with ways to use and reuse the mason jars because I'm a big fan of reusing. And so really it's about, I've developed a process to use, it's called super juice. Others have done it, but I've streamlined the process where, as an example, with just 2 lemons, you can make a gallon of lemonade. And so you're using the whole lemon in order to, extract those oils, and it's less waste. So some bartenders are doing this, but they have a complicated process. I've streamlined it for consumers, and we're going to figure out how to go to market with that.
Yeah, if I can jump in, Karen's always got an idea in her mind and very creative, and I don't think her brain stops.
Hey, Brad, I'm gonna stop you there. Are you close to your mic? You're not coming through very well.
Okay, I'll try. How's this?
That's better.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's better.
Sorry about that. So just a shameless plug about how we take talent like Karen's, and besides the traditional Robert's Rule of Order or their board and committee work, our board members like Karen also get involved as being advisors to our companies that are incubating at 900 State Street, so that they have this kind of talent and input to drive towards investment and to drive towards market. And you just get a sense today of just how she's constantly thinking of the next frontier from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And it's just great to hear her talk. That's for sure. I just wanted to throw that in.
And absolutely, what an opportunity is for somebody that's starting a new business that might be in the maker space to immediately have an opportunity to be on an established website where you're making the sales. So that's really cool, and I'm sure that some of those people really appreciate that connection.
Exactly. And then you have, like I see here too, you have the free tools for business on your site. Like you're willing to help out other people, and you're willing. It's a really neat site. I'm glad I know about this now. I can look more into it.
I was thinking of the people who might hear this today and immediately go over. I have a few.
Yeah, the beauty too, and this is my take on being in Erie for decades and putting my toe in the entrepreneurial space, is that the culture over time has gotten hyper collaborative just as much as the support system has. So startups like Karen, they haven't built one business and disappeared, right? The giving back is something Karen's done for a long time. I first kind of got to know Karen when I saw her doing a fireside chat. And I'm going, look at her give back. I got to know this lady. And then we would start to talk, and I'm going, yeah, she's got to be on my board. She's interesting, right? And
yep.
so,
Brad, we're coming up 30 seconds to the news break here. Karen, one more time, give us the website.
Great. Recapmasonjars.com. And for businesses, wholesalery.com.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you so much.
You're listening.
Thank you to both of you.
You are listening to Community Chronicles Radio on 103.3 FM, 105.9 FM, and 1530 AM. And as always, on the Corey Higher Education Council Facebook page, or talkerie.com on their Listen Live button. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Community Chronicles Radio, brought to you weekly by Gannon University's Erie Technology Incubator in partnership with the Corey Higher Education Council. The Erie Technology Incubator, located at 900 State Street, works in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and provides technical assistance through the entrepreneurial process. This show features members of this ecosystem and entrepreneurs in the Erie area. Thank you to our first guest, Karen Risbecki, founder of both Recap Mason Jars and Maker Place Incorporated. We appreciate her coming on. Now, I am glad to introduce our second guest this morning, Chris Norris. Chris is the founder and owner of Revox Media here in Erie, Pennsylvania. We at the Corey High Ed have had the fortune of being able to work with Chris on our reintroduction video that we released not that long ago, and a couple other small projects we can't reveal yet. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, Matt and Steph, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Good to have you on. Can you give us a little background on Revox Media to start out with?
I'd love to. I recently celebrated 5 years in business, which any entrepreneur can attest to. Number one, it went really fast, but number two, I'm very relieved because I know that's a big milestone. So 5 years ago, I started Revox Media after stepping away from a corporate job, a very good corporate job. Just wasn't finding fulfillment in my work, and took a leap of faith. Your classic entrepreneurial story. Had no background really in business. I listened to Karen's interview a moment ago, and it's just so impressive. And I'm like, man, that if I would have heard this maybe before, I would have been like, I'm not ready for entrepreneurship after hearing how impressive, she was and all of her accomplishments. But no, I did it. I took a leap of faith, and it has worked out very well for me. I've been so fortunate to meet so many amazing people and organizations, just like Corey High Ed. And I certainly would not be expanding my network if I was still kind of sitting in the job I was in before. I just felt like it was time for me to meet new people and get out there and just, I guess, take a risk on myself. And it has really paid off. So that's kind of the backstory on getting started. Revox Media has evolved over the past 5 years, but basically we help businesses and organizations share their stories and the stories of the people they serve through high quality video content. We do this just because we're pretty passionate about making sure that people's stories deserve to be heard, every one of them. And we live in a very noisy world where there's a lot of stories being shouted at us on social media and on TV and everything else. So I just love the opportunity to try to help people get heard through video content. And as Matt said earlier, I had the opportunity to do that with all the great stuff you guys are doing at Corey High Ed.
So what was your process for starting this business when you first started out?
My process was I was kind of building up some clientele while I was still at my previous job, doing some freelance work. And obviously, like any business, just kind of figuring out where there's a gap in the marketplace and figuring out where there's a need for people. And honestly, it seemed like from the beginning, a lot of the small businesses I was working with, some of the nonprofits I was working with, they all just didn't really know where to start. There were so many different ways to quote unquote advertise, to share their message, to share their mission. And they, a quick Google search can produce an overwhelming amount of results on how do I tell people about the great work I'm doing. So I would just guide them in the right direction. I would help them establish social media strategies. I would help them incorporate video into those social media strategies. And I think more than anything, quite honestly, I just help them sort of make sense of it all and not feel so intimidated by the crazy world of digital marketing. And obviously with the video aspect of our business, a lot of people are kind of intimidated by doing video on their own. But I always try to empower people because, we all have a video camera in our back pocket that's our cell phone. So, I just feel like I worked with people to make them, find effective ways and achievable ways to share their message, share their story through all the different outlets. And I always would tell my clients getting started, like, hey, don't bite off more than you can chew. And I feel like that's actually a message that maybe isn't as common in the marketing world. We all think we have to jump in and do 100 different things, but especially with the smaller businesses and smaller nonprofits that I work with, they might not have the resources to do that. So I worked closely with them until I had enough clientele that I thought, okay, I think I can do this stand alone for now. I don't have to do this freelance anymore. So took the jump and have been building up clientele ever since, and just kind of shifting my services in different directions, focusing more on different aspects of marketing. I would say initially I was very much focused on having Revox serve as a social media management agency. But then as time evolved, and of course we, walked through a pandemic together, I realized that video was something that people needed a lot of help with. And I really shifted my business model to serving our clients through high quality video content, not just social media management services. So that's kind of the short story of where we are, where we started and where we have come.
You're very good at telling stories through your own entrepreneurial journey. So what is the best part about working for yourself?
Oh man. Well, I think like any entrepreneur, I think the freedom to be able to kind of control my own destiny. If I want to, make more money, I have to work harder. If I'm okay with where I'm at, I can pull back and spend more time with my family. I think probably besides the obvious things of being an entrepreneur, as far as like having the flexibility in my schedule, being able to, skip quote unquote work and go to a Pittsburgh Pirates game on a Wednesday afternoon. All that stuff is obviously great. But I honestly think one of the best things is just that I have built up such a strong network, and I've met so many cool people that I have more confidence than I've ever had before. I mean, obviously in different workplace environments and jobs that I had previously, I had a great network within those four walls, but I feel like now that I'm not kind of constrained to four walls, I have just met so many great people. I have had my eyes open to some pretty amazing work that's happening right here in our region. And I just kind of feel like as a person, I've been transformed by being an entrepreneur just because of my network and the people I have met. I am a people person. I like meeting people. I obviously like helping tell their stories. And I've heard a lot of inspiring stories. I've heard a lot of sad stories. I've heard a lot of encouraging and exciting stories. And it's just kind of changed who I am. And I just don't feel like, I would have had the same opportunities if I would not have jumped into doing this and working for myself. So it's been a real great journey. And the coolest thing I think also about entrepreneurship, for me at least, is, there are times when you get a little nervous and, sales are down, or you're just, some days you wake up and honestly, you're not an entrepreneur if you don't wake up every now and then and think about just burning it all to the ground because you're just like stressed. But the great thing is I just feel like I'll never fall flat on my face because I have so many people now that I know and that I've met that would certainly pick me up and dust me off no matter what would happen. So just having that confidence that comes along with the stress, but it's really just been great to grow as a person and to meet more people and expand my network as a business owner.
It's really great to have that flexibility and yet enjoy what you do, and that's a lot of it too. And Revox has really started to grow, and of course, then you've had to hire employees. Can you talk a little bit about hiring your first employee?
Yeah, of course. It was stressful. Like anybody, I know that's a big first step. And my first official hire, oh gosh, it's been about 3 years ago. It was an intern, my first intern, that I thought he was fantastic, and he came on and worked for me in a part-time capacity right after that. So that was my first hire. That was a little bit easier because I had worked with him for 6 months. He worked with me through the pandemic, and then brought him on part-time. But then once he moved on, actually kind of advertising and promoting hiring, I got a taste of what a lot of people deal with every day, with just the stress that comes with hiring, all of the processes of interviewing and reviewing resumes and doing all that fun stuff. And also, like anybody, just the shortage of applicants also is kind of an issue. So that was about 2.5 years ago that I kind of advertised, we are hiring a social media manager and video editor. And I went through that. It was a great learning experience. And I was able to hire a wonderful individual who really helped me grow my business, because they took over a lot of the social media management piece that I had previously built up because I knew I wanted to focus more on growing the videography side of my business. So this individual did amazing work, kind of keeping the social media clients coming in, keeping their content fresh and engaging while I was out and about, filming a lot of videos and doing a lot of editing. And so that was a fun process. But again, like anybody says, you really can't grow a whole lot unless you're willing to start surround yourself with people that can help you do that. So hiring my first employee definitely has helped me get to where I am today. And there are times when I wake up and I think I might need to hire somebody else. I think any entrepreneur is kind of like, no, I can do it myself. But there definitely are those moments where you're like, well, Chris, look what happened when you did hire somebody. You grew the video side of your business. So what happens if you hire someone again? What aspect of your business could you possibly grow? So it's a big risk. And I think naturally as an entrepreneur, you're kind of, at least for me, I'm very independent. I'm just sort of like very, I like to work and I like to do things my way. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not the kind of person that's like, I want to hire someone to do all that work for me because I don't feel like doing it. I love doing the work. I love it. I love every minute of it. So delegating is a challenge for me, but it certainly has proven to be helpful.
Now, I want to jump in here real quick and add a question that's not on the list of questions. Was that one individual Kate Thiem?
It sure was. Yes. I'm glad you dropped her name on here. I should have done that. Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
The reason I bring that up is because the stories and the networks and the way that things happen over the years, I know personally that you've hired somebody that has a great heart and does great work. We all went through everything we had to go through during COVID, and COVID was, I would say, especially difficult on kids, young people that, all of a sudden were taken out of their classrooms. They didn't get to see their friends. It kind of changed a lot of dynamics. At the time that COVID started, Kate was a teacher, and she did this thing for my oldest daughter, Abigail, that, and not just Abby, but a bunch of people. It was the like a Masked Singer thing. And she built this whole social media following where these kids would record songs and sing them. And then, they didn't know who it was. She put this whole production together and really was a bright spot all through COVID for Abigail. And I very much appreciated her. When I heard that she left teaching, I was so disappointed because I know the experience that she gave those kids made a difference during COVID. And she was a great teacher, and we appreciated her for that. But when I saw you hired her, Chris, you got the right person for that job.
Oh yeah. She's a multi-talented and dynamic individual, and that story doesn't surprise me because she's very creative and always willing to do whatever it takes to kind of be engaging with her students and with her clients. So that's a cool connection that we had.
Yeah, I don't know if those are still up on YouTube, but that was so much fun. We look forward to every time that those videos came out, and
that's really cool.
Yeah.
We were also we got to work with you on our reintroduction video. And
yes.
I know myself, I was a little bit nervous at first, when people come in with a camera and a microphone, people tend to freeze up, but you made us all feel so comfortable in the whole process. Can you talk a little bit about the process of capturing our video for the High Ed?
Yes, of course. It was, well, first of all, it was such a great experience for me because, again, you guys are a great example for me personally of, kind of heard about what you were doing, wasn't real aware of it, and then get the opportunity to put together a video for you. And my eyes are wide open now to who you are and what you do. And obviously I had a firsthand account of that because I was quite literally trying to portray that to others. But what a great opportunity it was to work with you guys. That process was awesome. And basically a lot of great things and a lot of changes have happened at the Corey High Ed, and Matt and his team wanted to kind of, I guess, like he titled it, reintroduce themselves. So we came down with, the process. If you really want the nitty gritty of the process, the first thing is we have a planning meeting, and we want to hear about your goals, and we want to hear about how you think a video would help tell your story. And then obviously I want to know what your story is and what people in your organization, students, donors, customers, whoever, what people can best tell different aspects of your story. I just don't really want one person sitting in front of a camera talking for 10 minutes. That's boring. So let's find different people to really illustrate and bring, in your case, your mission to life. So we had our meeting, we identified people to do that. And then we had our, the best part, the filming day. I think we had 2 or 3 different filming sessions on site and at a couple other locations, and just had some questions prepared to really just hear people's stories, their connection to the Corey High Ed, how they've been affected by Corey High Ed, how they've grown, all the great stuff. And so we did all that, and then we had a lot of really good footage to go through. Very time-consuming process, but luckily it's a collaborative process that we work with the client to kind of look through some of the footage and decide what parts they think are the best, because it's not fun to have to cut some stuff out of videos, because some people, especially the good organizations, they've got a lot of people that want to say a lot of great things about you. So it's hard to cut that down to make it fit into a short video. So we did all the filming, did all the editing, and then we were able to cut a video that was vetted by your team and now is out in the world for people to get a great first impression and overview and understanding of Corey High Ed's mission. And then also, we're sitting on a lot more footage that we didn't use for the video. So we're continuing to, cut shorter clips, like 30 to 60 second social media clips that we share with Corey High Ed, that they can just kind of also continue to find shorter snippets to support their story and support their mission by posting those across different platforms as well. So the long and short of it is, video is the way to go. I mean, if it's, you could pretty much create content for 3, 4, 5 months just from a couple video shoots. And that's what we've been really enjoying doing with you guys.
I know you've helped me as the marketing coordinator, because you've helped to give me ideas. And like I said, you keep giving me lots of good content and reels and snippets and editing ideas. And, it's helped to have continuous content out there. And that's really been helping a lot. And we have another project coming up with you soon. And can you let the audience know what we have coming up?
Yeah. So you guys, among many things that you do a program that was just introduced to me called 21st Century Girls. And as part of the upcoming Erie Gives Day, we are putting together a nice promo video about this really cool program called 21st Century Girls. I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to watch the video, but yeah, what a cool program I got to be a part of last week. A member of your staff, Cara Dahl, took some really amazing and bright young ladies across different areas of Erie. I think the places that we were able to meet up with them were Asbury Woods, Penn State Barron, and Gannon IHAC Center. And yeah, we just followed them along kind of throughout the day, documented their journey, told the story of what they get to do as part of this program. And the goal of this video will be twofold. It will be to bring awareness to this program and to show other girls how they can get involved, but also another avenue and another angle to take for the community at large to say, look at this really cool thing that the Corey High Ed hosts for young ladies. You should consider supporting them on Erie Gives. So we're hoping that it raises awareness and maybe raises some additional funding as well down the road for you guys. But what a cool program that you guys have there, among many others that I'm excited. We got some great footage and it'll be a fun video to put together.
So Erie Gives Day coming up August 13th. You were able to work with the Erie Community Foundation recently, and a lot of great things were happening there. But Erie Gives Day coming up on August 13th. If there were other nonprofits interested in putting a video like that together, is there still time, Chris?
There is, yes. I would say we probably have capacity for 1 or 2 more nonprofits. We are scrambling this week and next to get videos at least filmed before the 4th of July holiday, because we all know how fast summer goes after the 4th. And me personally, I'm taking a vacation and right after that. So we're scrambling to get filming done this week and next week. And that way we have some time in post-production and editing to get those done. As long as they're done within 2 to 3 weeks before Erie Gives. Erie Gives is August 13th. A lot of people, let's face it, summer's a busy time, and Erie Gives isn't on a lot of people's radars until you get closer and closer to that day. So I always tell people, don't panic. Even if you share some of these videos a week or two before Erie Gives, it's going to take that kind of effort to make people remember, oh my gosh, it's already August 13th. So we still have time, and I still have probably room for about 1 or 2 more nonprofits. So we have a special Erie Gives package that we do each year for nonprofits. That there's 2 options, both of which you can check out on my website at revoxmedia.com. But both options include a high quality video that you can use on your donor page. That's through the eriegives.org website. And also some options for extra deliverables like social media videos, social media content calendar, and obviously a 1-hour content session where we'll come and take photos and video to put your videos together. So yeah, all that information's on my website. But yeah, Erie Gives is just around the corner.
It's funny, as a nonprofit leader, Chris, the minute that Erie Gives ends, we almost debrief and think about what we're going to do the next year. So we fell short of our goal last year. Not terribly, but we had something in mind, and we began thinking about what the process would look like to not miss it for this year. And hopefully we've taken the right steps. And I would encourage nonprofits in our area to reach out if they want to do this. You have a little bit more time. It sounds good. 1 or 2, you said, right?
I think so. Yeah. Just because we're getting down to crunch time, and I mean, we've been promoting the package since like early May. But again, like a lot of people, especially nonprofit world, when you're going 100 different ways and 100 different miles an hour, it's like Erie Gives is almost like crap. I haven't even thought about Erie Gives yet, so I get it. But yeah, I mean, and the great thing about especially nonprofits, and why I'm so passionate about organizations like yours, is that it's different to sell a product, because you can list the features and you can talk about, the ROI and all that. But man, with nonprofits and organizations, it's all about the stories, about the people they're impacting. And I don't want to say it makes it easy, but it makes it a lot more fulfilling to film a video when, like I filmed the video for you guys, just the young people that are being impacted by the work of the Corey Ed, like that does the selling in and of itself. So I encourage any nonprofit who's considering video is just a great tool for storytelling. And I just believe, my approach to marketing is that storytelling is the way to go. People have trouble reading through a lot of information. They don't want to be sold to, but man, a good story always works every time. So consider storytelling in your nonprofit marketing strategy. And if we can help at Revox, we'd love to.
That's just so true. I know when, I do the thing where I'm on Facebook or social media, any of them really, and you're looking at the stuff, but you're not really looking at it. And a lot of times it's the videos that stop you. Okay, what's this? What does this have to say? We're in such broken up, short little bursts of information. You have to grab someone's attention right away. And those videos are certainly a way to do that.
Absolutely. Yes. We're all prone to stopping and watching, crazy videos. Sometimes after they're over, I'm like, what did I just watch? But yep.
I know, I love it on like TikTok. Like I'll try to, post something on there and they'll go, your video's too long for TikTok. I'm like, all right, we have to have it like 3 seconds, That's right.
Yeah, I know
grab
that
somebody's attention.
that people just hit that scroll button if it doesn't catch them right away. Well,
yes, it's all about that hook at the beginning for sure.
So Chris, we're coming up at the end of the show. If someone wants to get in touch with Revox to start a project or start thinking about one, where can they find you?
Yeah, easiest place is my website, Revox Media. That's REVOX media.com. And listen, nobody has to go in there and sign up for any packages or even contact me if they don't, if they're not ready. But there's some great resources on there for people. We just released a video strategy document specifically for nonprofits that you can download and try to fill out a video strategy for your own nonprofit if you have the resources or the willingness to try to create your own videos. I feel pretty good that the tool we gave you will help you do that. And also you can sign up for our monthly email newsletter that is totally free and totally helpful. We have almost 1,000 subscribers on that because it's just a free monthly tip, a free monthly tool, and a free monthly trend that we're sharing with you to kind of help keep your marketing knowledge afloat. So yeah, definitely some options there to help you out if you're not ready to jump into any kind of service. I still recommend checking out the website because we love to help people. We have a free Facebook community as well that you can search the social media and marketing support group on Facebook. There's people on there all the time sharing helpful tips and trends with one another. So love helping people. So hopefully we can do that in any capacity, but just visit revoxmedia.com to see how we can help you.
And I can assure you that Chris makes the whole process easy. Well, thank you, Chris. We appreciate you coming on Community Chronicles Radio. We really appreciate being able to tell your story a little bit for everything that you did for us. I also want to thank Karen Respecki and Brad Gleason for coming on the show and talking about what they're doing. So, Steph, we have a couple minutes here. Can we talk briefly about what we have coming up? Our schedule's getting short for the spring session. We're running out of running out of days, but there's a few things going on. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, we've got a Jeep hype class coming up. I don't know if to call it class, but it's in preparation of July's first Friday. So you'll want to take a look at that. We've got that on our website. That's coming up Wednesday, July 3rd from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's free. And it'll be joining Kate Watrous and Matt Russ from the David Corey Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. They'll be talking all about all things Jeep. So if you love Jeeps, make sure you check that out. And then we've also got classes by PA CareerLink. We have one coming up July 11th. That one's called Using AI to Generate a Resume and Cover Letter. That one is also free, and you can go to register on our website. We've also got one through NWIRC called Creating a Culture of Accountability. Now, that one you have to go to register on their website, and that one will be on July 17th. And once again, all the details on our website.
Thank you,
we got a new.
Steph. We got to wrap it up. We're running out of
Okay.
time. Do not want to
Alrighty.
leave the listeners without the dad joke of the day, brought to you by the Corey Higher Education Council. So we have the Battle of Lake Erie softball tournament in town this weekend. Lots going on there. I wanted you to know that I had to kick Cinderella off the softball team. She kept running away from the ball.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, I get it. Yes.
I didn't have a lot of time to get that one together. We'll see
So you didn't have your
next
little
week.
button.
No, well, the button's in the bag. Last week was a
okay.
disappointment, so we had to do it there. Well, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.